like you. Be strong to hold the powers of the sun. To dream, believe in strength. Now I'm the only one.
In recent days, a new rumor has surfaced unexpectedly and spread at a speed that feels all too familiar in the world of celebrity culture. This time, the claim suggests that Jungkook is romantically involved with Winter from aespa, using alleged matching tattoos and unverified sightings as supposed evidence. These claims did not originate from credible sources but largely emerged from accounts dedicated to tracking celebrities obsessively, invading their privacy, and transforming minor, unrelated details into elaborate theories. Nevertheless, the rumor has circulated as if it were already confirmed fact. The real issue lies not only in the rumor itself, but in the extreme way some individuals have chosen to treat it. Across various platforms, accusations of infidelity began to spread, built entirely on narratives fabricated by Saesean culture. Some claimed Jungkook was seen with another woman while simultaneously alleging that he was in a relationship with Winter. These contradictory accusations lack any factual basis, yet they have still triggered a wave of harmful commentary. This impact does not fall solely on Jungkook, but extends to those connected to him, creating unnecessary tension and emotional strain. Alarmingly, many people who identify themselves as fans have repeated these stories without any consideration for their consequences. Those who truly care about all 7 members of BTS understand that this kind of behavior does not come from love or concern, but from a desire to provoke chaos and attack. Genuine fans do not invent narratives to damage a member's image or ignite internal fandom conflict. As a result, parts of the fandom have argued that the company's lack of a firm response has allowed falsehoods like these to flourish unchecked. HYBE's continued silence has undeniably created space for rumors to grow into endless debates, feeding speculation rather than resolving it. Some voices have even used the situation as a way to undermine the openly visible closeness between Jimin and Jungkook, especially following the release of Are You Sure? Their interactions have been dismissed by certain observers as fan service or corporate choreography, ignoring the reality that they have demonstrated a strong, natural bond for many years. Others, however, see the chemistry between them as genuine, supported by a long history of moments within the fandom often associated with Jikook. Regardless of individual interpretations, there are always those who attempt to use external rumors to diminish what Jimin and Jungkook show together, as if minimizing their connection is necessary in order to validate alternative theories. What many fans consistently point out is that no social media manipulation strategy can manufacture or erase the authentic dynamics projected when Jimin and Jungkook are together. It makes little sense to suggest that 2 individuals with established careers and financial stability would need to fabricate behavior for attention or profit, especially when both have shown that they possess the freedom to make personal choices. Despite continuous attempts by certain groups to rewrite narratives, generate confusion, or divide the fandom, these efforts rarely stand up to scrutiny. When exposed, such claims usually contradict themselves or rely on increasingly implausible storytelling. The outcome remains the same each time: loud online noise with no tangible effect on how Jungkook and Jimin interact or relate whenever they appear together. The situation surrounding Jimin and Jungkook is almost impossible to compare with that of other duos in the entertainment industry. They live under relentless public exposure, whether they are working, resting, chatting, or simply sharing mundane daily moments. Their presence naturally draws attention, transforming even insignificant gestures into points of discussion for millions of strangers. Over time, they have learned to exist within this reality. They understand that every word and movement can be dissected and taken out of context, but what matters most is not how many comments are made or where those comments originate. What matters is their decision to move forward without allowing empty criticism to define who they are or what they continue to build together. This mindset is exactly what enables their relationship to maintain a strength that stands visibly above outside noise. For those who support them, the responsibility remains simple but continuous: to offer support without excess fantasy or unrealistic projections, but through steady respect and understanding. Paying attention to their projects, honoring their timelines, and standing behind their decisions are practical ways of expressing that support. Jimin and Jungkook have proved their resilience in the face of rumors and misinterpretations, and it is only natural that their supporters choose to mirror that resilience rather than being dragged into pointless provocation or arguments. For years, every interaction between Jimin and Jungkook has been used by outsiders to construct unnecessary narratives, attempting to connect them to unfounded situations or attribute intentions they have never expressed. None of this alters the simple reality that they continue to act naturally, trusting their own judgment when deciding what to share publicly and what to keep private. Their way of relating to each other requires no explanation for those who have followed their journey closely and understand that their connection, whether perceived as deep friendship or something more meaningful, rests on a consistent and tangible foundation. Are You Sure? Arrived at a particularly significant moment for their public image. Without excessive editing or artificial framing, the project openly showcases their chemistry, their mutual understanding during work, their shared comfort, and the respect they have cultivated over the years. It was not created to convince anyone, yet it ultimately became something that silenced persistent doubt regarding their closeness. The way they complement each other on screen and within their professional lives makes it clear that their bond is neither improvised nor temporary. Future seasons of the project promise not only new content, but also a quiet reaffirmation of the connection between Jimin and Jungkook. This continuity often unsettles those who have long tried to diminish what they share. Still, consistency speaks for itself. If they continue to collaborate, create, and spend time together, it is because there is a real relationship worthy of being maintained. That is why the words of those who dedicate themselves to spreading rumors ultimately hold little significance. Empty claims fade with time, while Jimin and Jungkook's journey, their bond, and their choices remain visible for all to see. What they have built, and what they will continue to build, does not depend on outside opinion. It depends on their own work, their mutual trust, and the path they choose to walk together. Through countless recordings and appearances, Jimin and Jungkook have developed a closeness that remains palpable even after years of working side by side. What stands out is not just how often this closeness appears, but how effortlessly it does so. They seem to understand each other without words, sharing an unspoken language that operates seamlessly between them. When one adjusts posture, the other follows almost instinctively. When one begins a gesture, the other completes it without hesitation. This coordination never feels staged. It emerges even in contexts where distance would normally be expected due to protocols, cameras, or the presence of others. At times, their interactions appear almost automatic. There is no visible exchange asking for permission, no obvious signal of agreement. They simply act, giving the impression of being immersed in a space of their own where their dynamic flows freely, untouched by external influence. Fans recognize this kind of connection quickly, especially because it remains consistent regardless of setting. Whether on stage, in rehearsals, during broadcasts, or in more casual environments, their way of interacting hardly changes. Despite this, certain groups continue to attempt to reshape public perception by constructing contradictory narratives or blending unrelated, unsupported information. Some aim to plant doubt, divide opinions, or stir antagonism as a distraction. These efforts, however, tend to collapse under closer examination. The manufactured stories reveal the same weaknesses over and over again: recycled arguments with no proof, disjointed theories, and narratives that constantly shift direction. Their real-world impact is minimal because they do not affect how Jimin and Jungkook treat each other. Their relationship, as shown repeatedly in shared appearances, continues to evolve with the same natural ease it always has. One of the most notable aspects of their interaction is how their differing personalities complement one another so smoothly. Jimin brings a light, energetic presence that injects vitality into any situation. He has a talent for turning even the simplest moments into something memorable through movement, humor, and expressive reactions. His spontaneity creates an atmosphere in which everything feels alive and fluid. Jungkook, by contrast, tends to maintain a calmer demeanor. His humor appears at just the right moments, and his observant nature allows him to adapt thoughtfully to whatever is happening around him. When these two styles meet, the result is balance. Jimin sets the pace, Jungkook steadies it. Jimin adds motion, Jungkook provides continuity. Taken as a whole, their interaction feels like something built over years of shared experiences, trust, and understanding. They do not rely on grand gestures to communicate closeness. Instead, it is the small details that speak most loudly. When observed carefully, those details reveal just how naturally aligned their personalities truly are.